Hello everyone, today I'm basically in the middle of nowhere at a place called Rimfall Farm, which is nearly on the New South Wales-Queensland border, just on the Queensland side. And I'm hiking to a place for a very long time called Running Creek Falls, and by many people's accounts it's the best waterfall in southern Queensland. The reason I haven't been here before is there's an 18-kilometre return hike, pretty much no track, I don't really know. There's meant to be a track that used to be there. The condition of it is sus, I don't really know, and also access through private property. So basically I'm walking through these people's farm right now, which you have to do for 5 kilometres, and then you hike up the river for 4 kilometres. And yeah, it's called Rimfall Farm. They have cottages here as well, which you can stay in. And yeah, you just have to give them a call beforehand if you plan on coming, obviously, and not just wander in. But yeah, pretty keen for this walk. Should be a very impressive waterfall, so we'll see how we go. Well, the route here is actually pretty well marked out. You kind of got a fence there, and you just walk between them. It's not super hard, and there's kind of a bit of a trail that leads the whole way along. Not sure if it's more of a cow trail or a human trail, but it does the trick. The one thing I will say is we had quite a bit of rain last week, so it means the falls will be good, but also the walk through the paddocks is a bit of a quagmire in places. So that's something to be aware of if you're coming here in the wet season, but it's nothing too horrendous. And yeah, a few more kilometres to go of this. Well, the trail has sort of swung a bit more in a northeast direction, and it's obviously gone more into forest now. Running Creek is just through there. There was also a spot where it kind of wasn't clear where to go, where the main trail sort of seemed to go left, except that there was like a bit of a fence there, a very like mangled crap fence. So you just got to hop over that fence, even though it doesn't necessarily look like that's what you should do. And then the trail sort of heads more northeast to follow along the route of the creek. As you can see, it's actually not too bad of a track at this point. Whoops. But yeah, we'll see how it goes further on. Well, I've kind of been weaving in and out of farmland a bit, but now I think I'm probably in the forest for good. It's sort of a narrow little bush trail, not too bad actually, and there's these nice little ribbons to follow, which are really a lifesaver. I mean, for now it's okay because the track's not too bad, but I feel like later on it might get a bit worse. And it is a bit vague in places still. Well, I've come to this really pretty spot along the creek. The trail sort of led me down over this log just there, and you can see over that side there's a pink ribbon, so clearly this is where I'm meant to cross over. The creek is flowing fast and strong today. It has dropped off enough to make it crossable, but if it was much higher than this it would be pretty dodgy, but I should be able to make it across, not too many dramas. You can sort of see from the things that have been pushed down, it was much higher a week or so ago, but today it should be crossable enough, although not easy looking at this, because it's deeper than it looks here, and yeah, flowing quick. So I've been going about 5 minutes since the creek crossing, and the forest around here is really pretty, but the trail is also very vague now. I'm pretty much just relying on pink markers. Actually, this section is pretty good, but a lot of it's been very vague, lots of fallen trees, and really just those pink markers have been your only directional thing. In lower flow, it would often be easy just to walk up the actual creek, but obviously today it's a bit too high to do that. But yeah, it's still super pretty through here. I think I'm most of the way to the falls now as well. Well, it's been pretty hard going since the river crossing, which has been about an hour and a half ago. So I've been going for about 2 hours 45 in total, but I finally arrived at the junction of England Creek and Running Creek. Basically it's about 1 kilometre upstream to the falls from here, maybe just under. There's also a very rough old track that goes up that way and meets up with the stretcher track, which is a different way you can do this walk. Not recommended because the track is terrible and there's a humongous amount of climbing. But yeah, it got pretty rugged towards the last half hour or so I haven't really filmed much in a while, so I've just sort of been trying to get through it. I don't think the Q topo map is quite correct. I feel like where it places the stream crossing is a bit too far upstream. I reckon I've gone further since then than it says on the map, but whatever, I'm pretty much nearly there now, so I've just got to rock up the creek now and I'll be there, so I'll see you closer to the falls. Okay, so it's been about 3¼ hours in total and half an hour since the England Creek junction, and it's been very hard going. With the creek this high, I probably wouldn't recommend this walk truthfully, because there are several spots where I've had to do some really dicey scrambling to avoid getting into the creek. But I finally arrived at the vantage point of Running Creek Falls, and it is spectacular. There it is up ahead. Looks enormous, absolutely enormous. 100% worth the effort. This would have to be the best waterfall in southern Queensland. Anyway, I'll see you when I get up to the very base of it. Well, I'm on the home stretch now. Still got a bit of paddock walking to go, but I'm in the paddock, so may as well wrap up the video now. It's going to actually end up taking me a bit less time to get back, probably about 20 minutes less, so probably just a fraction over 3 hours. The main reason for that, besides it being slightly more downhill on the way back, is that when I was on the way back from the falls, between the falls and the England Creek junction, I found like a little taped trail that I hadn't seen on the way in, which sort of heads around the southern side of the creek and above like those bouldery cascades that I had a really hard time getting through. So when the flow is up, that's probably the way to go, and then it takes you down to a pretty good crossing point. It's a bit hard to spot where it is, especially coming in towards the falls, but on the way back it was easy enough to find. But yeah, it's an excellent walk. I'd say you want to probably allow 8 hours, because I walk pretty quick, and you want to allow time for photos and swimming at the falls. But yeah, absolutely a brilliant walk to do if you're an experienced hiker. It is the best waterfall in southern Queensland, hands down, so if you're capable, definitely can't recommend it enough. I'd also recommend staying at the Rimfall Cottages the night before, because you probably want an early start, but it is doable as a day trip from the Gold Coast. So I'll link to the Facebook page of Rimfall Cottages in the description, so that's how you get in contact with them if you want to book a stay or just organise access here. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.